Welcome to Louisiana Heartbeats. I'm Sudie Landry, and today I have a special treat. I have met two wonderful people, two new authors, husband and wife team, and I have with me the author, who is John Comeaux, and of course his co-author, who is his wife, Phyllis Comeaux. And we're going to be talking about a topic of what they published, a series of children books, and it's about trolls. And if you remember, many, many years ago, these pictures that you see, they may have been called something else. But right now, for those of you that want to go down memory lane, we're going to be getting children's stories that have actually John and Phyllis has updated and given us some good things to read about. I would like to say thank you for coming on the show, John.
Thank you for
inviting
us.
And for Phyllis, and you're so welcome. Now, you can tell your story a lot better than I can, but I'm going to get you started, John. So, how long have you been writing? When did you start writing?
I've been writing since I was 6 years old, and I've written poems and songs and puppet plays, graduating to stage plays. And I got interested in screenplays, and I tried to write movie scripts. That didn't go so well.
So, John, how long have you been writing? Since 6 years old? You actually, what we're going to do at Acadiana is we're going to give you some background on basically what John and Phyllis have been through, how their books came about, a little history of what they did, how they started the creating of these books, who was involved in it, and then John has a different spin. He doesn't mind telling you on camera, or Phyllis, what these books are about, because after all, you're writing for children. So why not tell the story? You may like what you hear. You may want to check out his email. You may want to go to some of the book signings. So if you know and you like, then also, too, we're going to have his email up there a little bit later on. You can shoot him a question. So backing up a little bit, John, okay, you are also the past president of another writing group out of Texas, right?
Right. We lived in Midland, Texas.
Okay.
And there is a very active group called West Texas Writers. There were some published authors and some wannabe authors, and we met monthly, and that I grew a lot in my writing skills. I kept talking about these movie scripts I was writing, and I was excited, but we were encouraged to write books.
Okay, and I'm going to jump forward and say, okay, he is now a member of the Writers Guild of Acadiana, where I am the current president, have been going on, I think, 8 years. And so this man showed up, and I knew there was something special about him, but I didn't know until I actually saw what he was doing on Facebook, which is another great outlet, just like Acadiana Open Channel. This is a free access station. We can talk about everything, and my goal on Louisiana Heartbeats is to let the person come in and tell their story. So naturally, I'm going to be curious, and I'm going to ask you all kinds of questions, and then you can start talking. I may stop you, I may not, probably not. And what I want them to know is that you are now shared with me prior to the show some of your past history, and you're going to be a huge asset to Writers Guild. Somewhere along the line,
I hope so.
I'm hoping to partner with you in your adventure and your experience to help others. And also, Phyllis, since you are now part of this as a co-writer, so naturally I'm talking to John, but I'm also including you. So with that said, what is this Mirror Mirror that I read a little bit about? What was that about?
We used to attend the Playwrights Theater of Louisiana and the what was the Red Dog Saloon called? The Eavesdrop Theater. And I'm John Fierro, I'm calling you out. And they would do, mostly the students and the professors at USL would do plays at the Red Dog Saloon for free, and they were just practicing their writing. And we would attend them, and we would say, oh, these are okay, but I think I could do better. Well, Phyllis pokes me and said, you can do better, let's do it. So we did a play, and then we did another, and then we did a 3-act play that you had to pay for at the Playwrights Theater.
It was a dinner theater.
Yeah, now what is this, the Playwrights Theater of Louisiana?
It's no longer inactive, but
that was like what, back in the years?
1980.
Around the 1980s, okay. Well, hey, you know, we all get good starts. We all learn. We start at one level, and we just kind of branch out. But I wanted them to know a little bit about you. not only have you been writing since a very early age, Lord, plays, screenplays, okay, now of course you combine together are writing books, which we're going to get into that real quick. But before we do, let's give the history of how you, Phyllis, and John decided and how you came about creating this idea for a book, the Trolls series.
Well, the idea for the very first book, it wasn't going to be a series from the beginning, but the idea for the first book came when we were on a family trip. We're in the car, and the kids are in the back, and we had 3 children, and they were about 12, 9, and 7. The youngest one is playing with her little troll dolls in the back seat, and we hear her talking, and the trolls are talking, and one of them says, "Humans aren't real." And he says, he's always thinking of things, "Write that down. That would make a great story." And so I did. I wrote it down, and he didn't forget about it. So we have our long 2-week family vacation, and I don't think it was...
So it happened on a vacation trip when you were minding your own business, enjoying a trip, and your daughter, what age was she?
I think about 7.
7 years old, and you hear a conversation, and you being the writer in the family, thought, geez, that's a good idea. So, once in a while, does she know that she is the reason for this story?
Oh,
You
yes,
give her,
she was in
she
the
reminds you a little bit? So you were on a trip, and this is ideas, and you write, John, how many times you go to bed and you have an idea and you don't write it down the next morning, you think you're gonna remember, and now I do, I have a book, which is what Jack Caldwell said. Put a book on the nightstand, a little tablet, and when those great ideas come down, whether you understand it or not, write it down, and sure enough, it has helped, and we're gonna get into how you were inspired even by that one person that shared something and it gave you a whole new idea. So Phyllis, what is it like now to be part of a team that are writing books together? Because you don't see that very often.
It's really fun. I mean, we have had, I think we do a great job collaborating. He does most of the writing, and I encourage him to fill in the blanks or to have a reason, motivation for some of the things that he's writing, or, you know, this works or this doesn't work, whatever. But the thing that is happening with me is I'm having ideas for the next stories, and
What?
he's taking his time writing number 3, and I'm like, we got to get on number 4 because I'm going to forget these ideas.
Write 'em
So
down.
we actually did not video, but record me, you know, saying this is the storyline.
Right.
Because we found out with the one he's writing now that we forget what we said.
Her ideas came out so fast, there was no way I could have written it.
So
I just
she's
turned on the
getting ready to
recorder.
speed up. She's got to speed you up a little
And
bit,
then
huh?
I have the just basic ideas for 4 more after that one. So
I didn't go and I didn't look it up on the internet. I didn't go check the shelves yet at Barnes & Noble's, which is where we meet monthly with the Writers Guild. But I do not believe I've seen any books of this genre, of talking about trolls. And how ironic. All of a sudden, people are coming up. He showed me an article earlier, you know, so it's true when things do return, but with a different spin, which you definitely have an awesome story. I can't wait to, well, you got 2 of them, and I know that you see on the screen behind us, okay, and the name of the story, one of the books, you want to name your book now? Let's talk about the first book and the experience of getting it in print.
All right, I can do that. The first book is called Winnie and the Mystery of the Missing Moonstones. So Winnie is a girl who's 11 years old, and she goes on a camping trip with her her brother.
That's okay, brother.
And her dad. And in the course of the events, she meets 2 real-life trolls. She loves troll dolls, but she meets real trolls.
Okay.
And they go on a big adventure to find the missing moonstones. Now, writing that was great, collaborating with Phyllis, and we had a finished book, and we said, well, what can we do with this? Let's get an agent. So you go by the library and you pick up the Children's Writers Market, and you go through and you try to find addresses to send your letter.
That's right.
To find an agent. And I sent, I don't know, 26 letters out, and Most of them were ignored and not even answered, and some of them said not interested, and some said don't have time. But some would say, send me $150 and I'll read your book. And
Right.
I've been told to stay away from those kinds, so I did. So then I found out Amazon has a way that you can self-publish a book. They won't censor it, they won't review it. It's all you. So that's the route I went. I used Amazon.com's company called Create Space,
Right.
and I was very successful in doing that.
And I appreciate Amazon giving that opportunity to a lot of us that otherwise could not. I went the publishing route, and the day that the 18-wheeler showed up in my driveway, I was all excited about getting the books, but it filled my whole living room up. And I've got the book sitting here, and I'm going, okay, I have paid this pretty price and this pretty price, but I got my book. It's in print, and it's all sitting here. Now what do I do?
Marketing.
Well, I don't know anything about marketing, so I start reading everything, and here we go, dish out some more money, and all this. Now, I learned a lot through my publishing experience. I knew I had a big seller. I wanted that out there in print. Whatever price was named, I did it. At that time I could. But since then, I have gained a lot of wisdom. I have learned a lot through being the president of the Writers Guild, through the speakers, that we are organized to help put you in the right direction, not let the new author to be taken advantage of. Let the published, seasoned author get those book signings. My advocate, what I do is I love doors opening so I can share with authors and let you get out there and tell your own story. Now, with that said, I learned a whole lot. What did you learn that first publishing? What would you do? Okay, let's talk about the steps. What you did. What was it? Write the book?
Oh, okay, self-publishing, the process.
No, let's tell the people.
I always tell people,
What did you do?
step one is write the
Self-publish?
book. Now, 1,000 people won't get through that, but the 1 in 1,000 who does, say, I've got a book. You create an account on this Create Space for free. You upload it to their file. There's this little template that takes you through step 1. And it tells you, you haven't finished step 1, you have to do a title, you have to do a price, you have to do which markets. Are you going to Japan? Are you going to England? Is your cover finished? It takes you all through these steps, and then it says, oh, you're finished with the steps. If you press this button, your book will be for sale on Amazon.com. That's the really exciting part.
That's the exciting part. And then, of course, you have to write the book. You have to format it, like you said.
Format it.
Then you have
You
to
upload
upload it.
Yes.
And they will publish it on demand, which means you put no money
That's right.
up front.
That's right.
And whoever orders, we have please order, everybody please buy my book. You tell everybody you can, go through whatever networking system that'll work, but you got it in print. So, now, you did it by the book, but now we're learning with each other, networking and helping each other. The most important thing is to get you out there, ready to write. Then as we tweak our stuff, then we realize, wait a minute, we need to redo this maybe in the future. But by then we've learned a whole lot more, which you and I talked about, and that's the normal routine. Now with that said, okay, that was book number 1. You got it out there. We had said about how many years ago, Phyllis, you first got it out there?
Years ago.
About 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago. So you've been doing other things besides this, but right now, 3 years ago, which you thought you'd be sitting at a table, you saying you want to crank out more books, and all of a sudden you've got these ideas, which you brought in an idea to share. So in 3 years, you've been through a lot of things. Now, okay, so you learned what you had to do. You wanted your book so bad that you actually published the first one with no pictures. A children's book with no pictures. Okay, but the story was good enough.
The search for the artist never stopped, and I finally found her, and she was putting her work on a web page. She lived in France. She lives in France. And she was 15 years old.
Yep.
But her work was so good. We sent her an email. We did everything by email. She read the book. She said, yes, I'll do it. We agreed on a price. We agreed on copyrights because those are important, but that could be a whole half-hour program, right?
Sure, Joe, yes.
I paid her dad's PayPal account with each illustration she sent. We went back and forth, and it's been a huge collaborative success.
25 illustrations per book.
25, and the girl is still in school.
Still.
And yes, I looked at the paperwork, and she's very talented. And from there, so some people stick with the same illustrator. I would, because if I like it,
It's
and
been a success. If it's
very,
been
don't change
productive.
it. Don't change it. Okay, so that was the first. Now she has been a part of from the very beginning, and at this time, let's.
Oh, her name is Malise Pitcher,
And she's from where?
France.
France. Okay, and she's how old now?
Today, she's 19.
19, and you started with her 16
She was
years old?
15.
15?
Okay, I met her when she was online.
Either way, it's been 3 years later,
Whatever.
and you still have her, and you still have plans on using her.
Oh, definitely.
Well, listen, my art is to find illustrators local. That is the hardest thing to do. I have yet to find anyone that's going to stay committed and actually do it and do what the author wants.
Yes.
So you found someone, so you work well.
She is so talented. She has so many styles. He could decide totally to change the style, and she'd be able to do it.
I'm always open for anyone, and I'm finding out a lot of people are having to go outside of Louisiana and get the illustrators. And you know, I was reading something in your paperwork. People are always wanting and looking for children books, but it's like a new story. They want new stories.
Yes.
You know, but when you've got that old traditional, and you can create something new, like I was telling you, my 2 grandchildren, the 3-year-old was throwing a fit last night because she wanted to come back to my house and read her the stories from this other author that had given me some books, and I called him. I said, "You got to sell her. This kid loves these books." But all 12, I didn't want to read in one night. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the second book, which is.
Winnie and the Trouble with Trolls.
Okay, so what is that about?
You want to talk about that one?
Phyllis, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, that one's really fun. And that one, we totally came up with that story together. I'm not sure how it first came about, but I think you had the idea that the trolls were going to go to Dallas. And then from there, it's quite an adventure as they travel around the country through Canada, all accidentally. I mean, they started out, should I tell, falling into a dumpster, and that gets them
To Alaska, and that gets them to Nova Scotia.
Well, already I'm interested. Wow.
through New Orleans, and then Houston, and then back home.
So these ideas just keep growing and growing. But you know what? Even though you're saying what you're saying, and I've read a lot of children books. I'm on my great-grandchildren right now. Children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and I've never heard that kind of story for
It's
children.
really fun. It's
You know,
really
it's like me trying to write a story.
We think the fun thing about our books is the characters you meet and get to know, and they're memorable. The plot you might forget, but the characters you meet are memorable.
Okay, so if you can learn one thing, somebody can be talking about something, and that inspires you and encourages you, the creativity juices kick in, right? Well, let's talk about how all of a sudden you've created some characters from your books, but you
Right.
put them on what?
Okay, as I was telling you, we had a speaker at the Writers Guild. Jack Caldwell talked about, hey, you're a writer, you should hand out bookmarks, not business cards. Business cards are extremely cheap.
Yes.
Bookmarks are not cheap.
No, but
However, when I thought, what kind of bookmarks would I want to create? I can create character bookmarks. Here's Winnie. She's the hero of the story. Here's Jerry. That's her brother. So it tells a summary of who these characters are and why they're important in the book.
well, then let's read something about them. Winnie started it all, and it was your daughter. Let's tell the
My
story.
daughter's name is Julie, but we named the character Winnie.
Okay, so let's just read what's on the back of one of these cards. Okay? You want me to read it? Okay. Winnie is, of course, one of the characters. This is unique because I've never seen someone describe a character. So he took an idea instead of business cards. He actually used the characters in the book to turn them into bookmarkers. Winnie Carver, age 11, collects troll dolls. She has a heart of gold. Winnie meets Ola, the troll, and helps the trolls find their moonstones. Her patient wait is the key to the trolls trusting humans. Okay, so this little girl has met some trolls, and they're now going to trust her as a human. Okay, that is awesome. It's called Winnie and the Mystery of the Missing Moonstones. So on each card, it's a great idea, artists out there. It's a great idea, authors out there. This is the first time I've ever seen this. Usually it's just
I invented
cover of the book. So this is an original by John Comeaux that goes with the two books that he and his co-writer, of course, Phyllis, have put out there. I love it, because you know we're not going to throw away bookmarks. But some people, unfortunately, throw away cards. I'm not one of them. But anyway, so you have characters that you talk about. We have Winnie. We have Winnie, okay. We have Humphrey, and what is it? You had, who's Ola?
Hulu's on the other side of the
Okay, I thought I saw that, okay.
And Jerry, the brother.
Okay. Well, this is wonderful. So you have how many characters altogether?
There are 4 main characters of this book, plus Dad. Dad searches for Winnie and Jerry when they go off to find the missing moonstones.
Okay, so we have book 1 and book 2, which is actually on the green screen back there. And of course, we also have now the character cards, which are on bookmarks. Okay, awesome ideas for people who may be watching the show, that it will inspire you to do something. Now, John, believe it or not, I think we got about 3 minutes left in the show. Phyllis, what are we going to talk about? What we need to talk about? What did we not? What is it? What would you like to do? What would you two like to do?
Well, I think our next book that he's writing is about the ancient trolls. And then the one after that, which I'm so excited about, is about the trolls in New Orleans and how they accidentally get mistaken for voodoo dolls.
Voodoo dolls.
Okay,
Can you imagine that?
yes, I can imagine that. And listen, another thing too, I'm looking up on the screen. I'm not sure if we have the email, but if you would like more information, you can always shoot an email to john.como@gmail.com. We wanted to be sure to put our authors up there, and I think we failed to put the email, but be sure to check them out. And I think
Thanks,
they're
Judy.
also on Facebook, right?
Facebook page for the
Okay.
trolls and humans.
Okay,
Humans and
so
trolls.
you have a page for this, trolls.
Yes. Humans and trolls.
Humans, it's under?
Search for them.
It's under humans, it's called what?
If you type in humans and trolls,
Yes?
you'll find it.
Wow, okay, Facebook has got it out there. All right, so we have 2 books, working on a 3rd, and she's going to be cranking out a
Writing the
4th
third,
soon,
yes,
huh?
yes.
Okay, and so if you're interested in finding out where he's going to be, I'm going to let you know right now that I've already planned for him to possibly be at 2 more events, but we're going to be posting this on the AOC tube, also on Facebook, and the regular YouTube out there is going to have our interview for today. So all that information you can gain. If you have any questions, you can always contact AOC, because what we don't put on the
Thanks so
screen, they
much,
pretty well.
Judy.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Delightful talking to you.
Thank you for being on the show, and really, you have so much to talk about. We could probably do another show with another topic, but yet still on that. But before we take off, I definitely want Acadiana to know that this is a platform that you can come on here for free just to tell your story. If you have a good story, I'd love to hear it. I love getting inside of the story. I love using this platform, this show, to help people get their passions out there. I love encouraging, but most of all, it's free. You can get on the list. So many events that I love organizing, and we can tell people what you're doing. Now, John, you've already cranked out these 2 books. Phyllis, you've gotten all hooked up in this because you started off just giving opinions. Now it sounds like you are also a full-fledged author yourself, huh? And you said
Creator.
it's fun.
It is. Oh, it's
and that's
very
what's
fun.
important. And as you see the rolling credits coming down, we like to give everybody credit for being on the show. But the most important thing is this is a free access television show. We can talk about anything that we want to. So if you have a dream, or you have a passion, or you have a story that you'd love to see in print, I'm your lady. I'll tell you how. If you want to help, I'd be glad to sit you in the right chair in the right direction. Be sure to tune in at this time, Monday night at 9 p.m. It might just be you or Phyllis and John coming back on the show. Otherwise, just keep writing, keep talking, keep sharing, and know that there's always somebody out there that will believe in you. And my name is Sudie Landry. Thank you for watching.